Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hello everybody and welcome to All-Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, the 8th round of the Rev Limit Sportscar Series, coming to you live from Fuji International Raceway. It's going to be a fun one. We currently have, looks like 11 drivers on the grid. The 2 LMP2s leading the field, then 8 GT3s and 2 GT4s. We're looking at a really awesome battle for the GT3 portion of the race this evening. Glad to have you all here. We're about to start rolling momentarily. Joining me up in the broadcast booth, what's going on, Mr. Joe? How was your road trip?
It's a small world after all. I mean, what?
You know what they say, if you lose any kids, you'll find them in there.
Right. Hi, everybody.
And somebody who's probably going to, at some point throughout this stream tonight, scream of either excitement or anger with his favorite soccer team possibly scoring or getting scored on. What's going on, Brandon Store?
Not a whole lot. I don't know if I'm more disappointed at the fact that this is not Fiji and it's Fuji and there's no margaritas, or at the fact that Columbus. We could, or the other side of it, Columbus has not scored on Northern Kentucky yet. Either way, I'm a little disappointed right now.
Well, here we go. The very, very long front straightaway. Going to lead us to a lot of passing zones into turn number 1. Nearhoof, Fazillo, your front 2. Then it's Jackson, Smith, Dime, Diltz, Whale, Lothian, Robinson, and Giori, your GT3s. And then it's Edwards and Holloway for your GT4s. There goes the iRacing official pace car. We are in the command of the starter stand. Barney, the flagman, waiting for the green. And there it is. Green flag is in the air. We are a go here in Fuji. Into turn number 1, Nearhoof takes the advantage over Fozzie Fazillo. Then the GT3s of Jackson, Dime, and Smith as they're side by side for P2. Looking a little bit further back with them. takes you to the GT4s. It's Holloway and Edwards going into turn number 4. As there goes Holloway, drifting it.
No.
Gonna loop
Oh
it.
no.
Edwards is gonna take the point in the GT4s and now pull away by almost 7 seconds now.
As that's going on, we have a battle at the front for the GT3s. Joshua Jackson, who was out front, has now lost positions to both Morgan Smith and Parker Dime.
Oh, it's going to throw it back in there, try to regain at least second position. They're going to be side by side. Oh, Joshua Jackson almost loses it. He's going to fall back to now 5th in class. Lothian right behind him. These cold tires have bit Joshua Jackson on this first lap.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize the track temp is so low. Wow, 71 degrees.
And there it is. It's a nice, cool 66 degrees for everybody here. And just like Joe said, 73 degrees track temp. Robinson trying to make the pass. Oh, but he's going to go long into turn number 1. Going to drop back a couple spots. 8th overall, or 8th in class. Now having to deal with making back up some of that ground as Parker Dime leading the GT3s by just about 0.7 of a second over Morgan Smith. And as we're looking at, Joshua Jackson is still trying to claw his way back, -4 spots, sitting 5th in class, right on the back bumper of Jacob Quayle.
Don't count that 6 out. He'll be back.
Yeah, the difficulty, we were talking about how the track temps are a little bit colder. Cold tires on a restart and with minimal, we didn't do a full lap. Not having a full lap, those tires are cold, and I guarantee you he was just having trouble keeping the grip.
Good save by Jacob Quayle to not wreck the car, but Joshua Jackson does end up getting by, as it looks like the 18 of Robinson with an issue on the racetrack.
No, not Mikey.
Ooh. Don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall. Didn't hit the wall.
All right, something else we don't have to buy. I mean, what? Ha! I got AJ to laugh in the first 15 minutes. Let's go.
Are you trying to like lower that every race now? I feel like
Yes.
that's exactly what you're trying to do. As you can really see these GT3 cars really starting to get the tires up to temperature, seeing them sway on some of these straightaways. But Morgan Smith in second, Diltz trying to add another position, move up to P2, almost gets into the back bumper of Smith into the chicane. Talking to a couple drivers before the race started, that chicane could very much be an issue for these drivers, especially when they're all bunched together like they just were.
Well, these front 4 seem to be under a blanket. We only have a gap of about 2 seconds between all 4 of them as Joshua Jackson has made his way back up into the top 4. These cars are going to stay pretty competitive, and what's interesting is as we go around the track, it's a long sweeping right-hander that drivers are taking 3 or 4 different lines on. So that may play a factor in tire wear later down.
I'm very excited to see how that's gonna go. We've seen in past races that these drivers do not like to take tires throughout the race, and to see who is going to have some of this rubber left over is going to be interesting to see if that's You know, Joshua Jackson, his first lap, not ideal, but when you get put into a predicament like that, Joe, is there a possibility
Yeah,
where you
but
just
spin at
try
the
to
front.
bite
Parker
the bullet?
Dimes around.
Leader in class, Parker Dime goes around. Didn't populate on my end, so we're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way.
And it was sort of a round. He did a great job at saving them. That could have been much worse than it actually was. So I apologize for jumping the gun.
Oh,
But with my brain going 20 different ways, look at him lose that car, regain control. He's definitely lost some time, but no worse for wear.
he killed that rumble strip. It goes from P1 all the way down to P4. But back to what I was saying, and now maybe Parker Dime is gonna have something to do with that as well. After having a early mistake, is there a possibility that you go into a little bit of a conservation mode to keep those tires kind of underneath you and have some left for the end of the race? Or are you the type of driver, Joe, will put your head down and start banging off lap time after lap time after lap time? What are you kind of going through mentally after an early mistake like that?
At that point, I would sit there and try to feel the car out, and if it's good, try to burn off the rubber because you've damaged the tires. You'll more than likely have to change your tires on that pit stop. That is pretty much mandatory at this point. If you haven't really damaged the tires and everything seems to be good, then you might be able to ride it out and not have to take tires during that pit stop. You don't know. My suggestion right now would be to kind of behave, back off a little, and ride out until, and try to keep up with the field, and make sure you got some stuff left at the end of this race.
Well, just a lap ago, we kind of got to drop back to this, as both GT4 drivers with issues on the racetrack. There goes the 35 of Holloway, and great driving by Chris Edwards, able to just stop on a dime and continue.
Mustangs doing Mustang things?
A little bit. This GT3 field, though. So what we need to see here, Austin Dilts and Joshua Jackson really need to work out real quick. Are we going to draft? Because this is a very draft-dominant track. They need to pick up their speed. We saw that Parker Dime lost the lead when there was about a 2-second gap between him and fourth place. We're sitting at about 1.8 seconds of a gap, which means if they stay in a row, they hit their draft lines, they don't battle in the rough corners, they can catch Morgan Smith at the front.
And that's exactly what's going on. We're looking at Joshua Jackson just to Morgan Smith on this front straightaway. Went from 1.4 all the way down to 1.2, and through the first turn, as there was a pass being made with Joshua Jackson, it went back up to 1.5. But to your credit, Brandon, absolutely, that front straightaway is where you're going to gain some time if you're around other drivers of equal or common build.
Yeah, at this stage of the race, if I'm Austin Dilts and I know Joshua Jackson is faster, I want him in front of me. I want to be able to push him, get that draft, get up there to first, because otherwise you're battling for second place with no shot at a win.
We'll look at lap times when they come across the stripe this time by, but I'm really curious to see how these guys, now that they're even closer together, really excited to see how they get down into turn number one. I think there's a really good shot, depending on how they get through these final 3 turns, that they could be right on the back bumper of Morgan Smith, as Jackson is all over Austin Dilts. Oh, Jackson's going to pull out a little bit of a block.
That's blocking. He just ran him down. That is blatant blocking there. That's not good.
A little bit of contact as they come across the stripe as well. And just as we thought they were going to close in on Morgan Smith, the opposite has happened. Dilts is going to run the preferred line.
Yeah, he worried too much, though, about that other car, and now he's going to have to settle back. Oh, you have a spare!
And there they go. Wow. Parker Dime goes around with contact. And Parker was running that racing line, trying to stay out of their business and just getting to Joshua Jackson at a bad point for Joshua Jackson gets turned. And nothing for Parker Dime. He was doing everything right.
I think Joshua Jackson got caught up in the battle. He was trying to get by Austin Diltz, who was definitely going to be the slower car with the draft in that battle. He missed his braking zone going down into turn 1, and I don't think he realized he was losing as much ground to Parker Dime as he was.
No, but I'd be curious to see if there's somebody up in that race control booth that just saw that. Don't know if they'd be very happy with that, as now instead of all being under a blanket, there's only Austin Diltz, the 14 Aston Martin, within earshot of Morgan Smith.
Well, and to let everyone know who's listening, I was listening into the communication between everyone, and Joshua Jackson was very apologetic about what happened, explaining kind of similar to what I was saying, that he was not fully aware of, what exactly was going on. There is a little bit of hostility between some of the Aston Martin drivers and saying how you were being raced, but I am interested to see as well, how will that go down with race control.
As we are already 8 laps in, just past 12 minutes in race time. I'm AJ Cabola, Joe Hutchings up here, and Brandon Storr, who's doing a really good job multitasking, watching the beautiful race we have at Fuji with the Rev Limit Sports Car Series and Columbus versus who?
That team in Northern Kentucky, they don't matter.
Team in Northern Kentucky. Is it still 0-0?
It is still 0-0 in the 69th minute.
Oh, God.
And it's been a good battle so far, much like what we saw with the GT3 cars. A lot of shots on goal, a lot of attempts made, and definitely some yellow card moments, which I think, what we saw in turn 1 was definitely a yellow card moment for this race.
That's it. I like how you're grabbing stuff from other sports and bringing it into the broadcast. I like it.
And all the racing fans are like, can we talk about not soccer? Because normally they like football.
I like hockey.
As we drop back to Parker Dime, closing in on Kelman Giori, 8th or 6th position, 7th position. Parker's got a long road ahead of him to make it back up at least into a podium spot for the GT3s. I know it's asking for a lot, but there he goes, makes a move by Giori. No contest. Looked like that McLaren definitely knew Dime was faster.
Well, and that's the challenge with these races. A lot of times, especially at a drafting track, you think you're the faster car because you have the draft, but in reality, the technical portion of the track, you may not be the fastest, and that's where you're going to lose all your time if you're battling through those technical parts to try and get up to where Morgan Smith is now.
And now Dime looking to get by Lothian, makes the pass round the outside like Eminem would say, up to P5 in class, and now Joshua Jackson less than a second ahead of him.
Well, and you got to wonder if he's going to be upset or if he took that apology as remember it for later or not, as they are going to catch each other here pretty soon.
Well, we'll see if Dale Earnhardt decides to wreck Rusty Wallace here in a minute.
The tri-oval and Rusty spins.
No pass in the grass here. They're also going to contend with getting by the 35 GT4 of John Holloway. Jackson gets by. Parker gets by. Into turn number 1. Is Parker going to send it? He's there. And it looks like Joshua Jackson kind of gives him the racing
Just
line.
give him a spot. Yeah.
And that's that racer's etiquette of, you've apologized. You're not going to race him deep down in the corner. And those things as a racer you look for. If there was contact on track, you can say what you want to save your own race, but how do you react when I get back to you? How do you act whenever I race around you after an incident has occurred? So I really like that sportsmanship from Joshua Jackson.
That was some right into straight up high racing IQ at that point.
Exactly.
I feel like whenever you say that, I need to have like a stamp come across the screen. It's like Joe Hutchings Racing IQ moment of the day.
Well, we have Dustin Neerhoff who's on pit road right now. As we see Fozzie Fazzillo, he's also on pit road, but has taken the lead. Or no, he is still out on track.
He's staying on track. This is early for Dustin Neerhoff. He also did the exact same thing last week where he hit pit road very, very early. Also took tires to drop him a little bit further back and just drove right back up to Fozzie Fazzillo before he made a mistake and allowed Fazzillo to win.
He also started from pit road.
He did.
Mm-hmm. And guess who won that race?
Wasn't it Fozzie though?
It was Fozzie.
It's like you made me start second guessing it, Joe. And I was there.
No, I know. I just sometimes some strategy calls are good. And some of them might just say what.
Sometimes maybe good. Sometimes maybe other word.
Sometimes maybe boing. What? I needed to finish it, so sorry. Man, I got you to laugh twice tonight. Ooh,
it doesn't take much. It really doesn't. I usually mute my mic before it gets too loud.
Well, I've been really impressed that Austin Dilt has been able to maintain his pace behind Morgan Smith up at the very front. He's only about, 3/4 of a second behind and has been really solid at not losing that draft, maintaining his spot. Once those pit cycles come around, it's possible he could jump them based on his pit strategy.
In the last couple laps, Dilt has been faster than Smith. I just think, like you were saying, Brandon, he's biding his time. He's waiting for a good spot to not jeopardize either one of them.
Which may have been also why him and Joshua Jackson had the contact a little bit earlier. Obviously, Austin and Joshua didn't wreck each other, and it was with another driver who had the incident. But it may be possible that Austin Dilts was trying to maintain his tires early, and Joshua was willing to put it down on the track. You have a difference in weight distribution of these two cars. One's a front engine, one's a more mid to rear engine car.
Joshua Jackson now hitting pit road. And now, when are we going to see Neerhoof come to pit road? And Neerhoof, Fazzillo. It would bounce back to Neerhoof taking the point. But there's a 23-second gap between the two of them. That might actually be really close if Fazzillo just takes the fuel. I really do think Neerhoof took tires just to expand that gap.
Well, and the thing is, Neerhoff is also currently sitting on 16 points of off track, so he's got to be careful as he's running. He could pick up a penalty.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Wait, Neerhoff's already on a penalty?
Not yet, but he's at 16 points, and I do believe the cutoff is 20.
Yes.
Ooh, how did he pick up that?
Well, and to go along with that as well, Morgan Smith, our leader out front, has not been around a lot of chaos, has 12 off tracks right now.
See, that's a problem. Nobody's forcing you to make these mistakes. You're doing it to yourself, and it can very much cost you a really good finish.
Oh! He almost scored. Sorry, I knew that would happen.
Who almost scored?
Columbus almost scored. I apologize. I got excited.
It's fine. It's a good thing a Ranger game isn't going on as while we're broadcasting. As here's the battle. Dilts, Smith, under 0.4 of a second, under 3, 2.5 now.
Well, you can see through that turn, that different line I talked about at the beginning. One takes that a little bit wider to try and cut that exit, and the other one keeps it low through there. And that makes a difference on not only your tire wear, but your speed as well. As we can see that Austin Dilts has closed that gap by 0.1 additional seconds than he had before.
Well, you also got two different style cars, even though they're both front engine, rear drive. You got one that's got a 6-cylinder turbo engine, and you got another one that's got a V8. That turbo is going to take a little bit of time to spool up. That V8's going to have all its horsepower right away.
Cincinnati just scored on Columbus.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's all right. We still have 13 minutes.
In other news, we have a race going on at Fuji.
There's no margaritas here.
Yeah, I don't hear Jimmy Buffett.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Just listen to that song on the way home, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That
Oh,
gap
it's
under
nice.
half a second now. Morgan Smith able to separate on the back half of this lap, even though Dilts was a little bit faster last time by. There it is. There's the gap between the two of them. Those were the last 3 sectors. It'll reset when they cross the sector line momentarily. There it is. Dilts 0.011 faster in sector 1, ever so slightly cutting into Morgan Smith.
Well, based on how Austin Dilts was running that turn before, he didn't run it like he normally does and did lose some time there.
Mike Robinson with a yellow flag. Little off track.
He's just doing a landscaping job. It's okay. He's just earning a little extra money.
Well, and to that note, Dustin Nierhoff is now up to 18 incidents on track. And then in the GT3 field, Parker Dime has been trying to make his way back through, is up to 15 points.
Yikes. That could be a problem.
Adam Cap said drive-through penalty is at 15 incident points.
Okay, but Nierhoff did come down pit road and did stop in his box.
Well, the telltale sign will be if we see Parker Dime come down pit road, he does not stop. The Columbus in me also believes that was offsides, but that's besides the point.
I'm interested to know where these guys keep getting this off track, because we have a lot of guys in the double digits on the X count here.
I just saw a couple people in turn 1 it populate for. And there's another one. Right there, Morgan Smith. All 4 tires on that rumble strip.
Well, that rumble strip may be the cutoff.
Both of them. Smith and Dilts into the chicane.
Oh, as we have a spin out front.
Morgan Smith
gone around.
Leader in the GT3s, goes around.
Well, I don't think that was contact related. I think
so
that
either.
was just on his own.
I wonder if that's helping a little aerodynamic down the front straightaway, having the wipers going.
Very well might be. Probably not, but might be.
I do
We can
that.
hope and pray. That's usually if I'm racing a car and I'm raging behind the wheel and I'm wanting to hit the lights because I'm mad and I hit the wrong button and it's the windshield wipers and then I'm more mad. That's kind of what happens.
At least you don't hit the kill switch. As Morgan Smith, after that spin, right down pit road. Was that for incidents, or is he actually taking a pit stop?
I do believe he's taking a real pit stop.
Was that Morgan Smith you said?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he's at 17 incident points, but he is doing a pit stop.
Now, will that cover the black flag too? Would it just assess him a hold at that point? Or how would
They might give him a hold while he's there. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't get too many penalties.
We try and keep it on track.
Nah. If you get too many penalties, you usually put it back on the hauler.
Mine are usually for voice misconduct.
Via the wrecker.
Thanks.
Hey, that's not... It happens. Just like power going out. It happens.
Ouch, that stings. That stings, sir.
I'm pretty sure it stung when you punched the wall.
I didn't Kyle the wall, it was the door.
I love how you call it Kyle in the wall. As we've got one thing in particular I'm seeing on track is that we got Kalman Giori in the 71 and Matthew Lothian. They're about a second apart from each other now at this point. Matthew Lothian has been slowly eating away at the gap in front of him. He was about 1.3, 1.4 behind whenever I started looking at this gap. And he's cut it down to being about a second. So if he catches him in the right spots, he may be able to get a draft, may be able to get around him.
As we're watching it, I still have the sectors up. All that good work that we saw 2 laps ago kind of went the other way last time by. Just a tad. With Giori's 1 minute 40.11 to Matthew Lothian's 140.2. So a little bit there. It does look like it's slowly starting to go the other way for Lothian.
Well, it may just be based on the sector points, but at one point he was cutting into it, so he just got to get his head wrapped around what he's doing on track and just stay focused, grind it out.
Chris Edwards now hitting pit road. It was a good sector for Lothian to minimize some of that damage. As we are just under 30 minutes in the race, 15 to go. Do not go anywhere. We were hoping to talk to our 3 winners in each class, hopefully. But this is the closest battle we have on the racetrack right now. As we're looking at also Austin Diltz and Jacob Quayle. Quayle is only about 2, maybe 3/10 off a lap between the two of them. As you can see, Matthew Lothian is backing up ever so slightly from Kalman Giori. You know, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's jump on the fastest driver on the racetrack. Going into turn number 1 behind Joshua Jackson, who has not been able to recover from the issues earlier on in the race. Oh, now they're side by side. Long, sweeping, right-handing turn as Neerhoof gets by. Gotta give a huge shout out to Fozzie Fazzillo, though. You know, about a half a second off the pace, but the most consistent driver on the racetrack right now. And that's basically one reason why we're seeing him up front for as long as he is. He still does need to pit, and that would transfer the spot back over to Dustin Neerhoof, but can Dustin hold on for the rest of the
Well,
race.
we do see some of our GT3 starting to hit pit road. Jacob Quayle, Cameron Giori, and Matthew Lillian have all now hit pit roads. Just Austin Diltz and Parker Dime have not been on pit road yet this race.
Yeah, now Fozzie's also on pit road too. There it is. There it goes. Nearhoof all the way into turn number 1, right behind the 35 GT4 of John Holloway. Makes the pass and gets going. That gap, it's growing. It's gonna be completely all Nearhoof by easily almost 35 seconds.
Yeah, but Nearhoof is sitting at 25 off-track incident points still, as we've got Austin Diltz coming down pit road. If I'm Nearhoof, I want to clean it up a little bit to make sure I don't get another penalty, because that gap to Fozzie Fazzillo is 34 seconds back. While a drive-through is not going to cut into all that, I don't need to take unnecessary risks.
Yeah, and I feel like after getting the first handful of incidents, that would have been the game plan to just back off a little bit. You are already the fastest car on the racetrack. Your fastest lap compared to the next vehicle is a second and a half, which is absolutely insane on a track like this. But no, I'm really curious to see how or if Fozzie can chip away at that and maybe force Nearhoof into an incident, or even more incidents where he has to serve another black flag, Brandon. As Fazzillo, cold tires, not looking good for that LMP2.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a loop-de-loop there.
Doesn't hit anything, spins out, lights up the tires. And now that gap is 43 seconds.
Dang it, Fozzie. You're doing good.
I will say, from the start of the season to right now, Fazzillo has probably been one of the biggest rising stars, with how he started to how he's running now. You know, within a second of Nearhoof every week. It's pretty cool to watch a driver progress from one end of the season to the other. Let's take a look at the GT3s again, as it's still, we're going to keep an eye on Morgan Smith and Joshua Jackson now. Calvin Giori's kind of backed off of that. This is the closest battles. Austin Diltz and Jacob Quayle are your front runners, separated by just about 5 seconds to each other.
Well, and Jacob Quayle is in an awkward predicament. He's currently sitting at 18 off tracks total, and he's going to want to try and get as much speed out of his car as possible, but he can't take any more incident points, whereas Austin Diltz is sitting at 11. He's sitting in a good spot to stay smooth, run your race, and take that W home.
How does that affect your driving, Brandon, knowing that you only have maybe 1 or 2 incidents to play with? How does that affect your driving?
Well, and so it depends, because we did have obviously someone comment saying that it was supposed to be 15 incident points instead of 20. Based on the last 2 weeks that I've been here, if I remember correctly, it was 20. But that's all up in the air because we haven't seen anyone come down pit road on it. With Jacob Quayle sitting at 18 incident points, if I've already come down and had a penalty, honestly, I know that I've got until 30 incident points. I'm going to run it as hard as I can. And if I'm Austin Diltz at 11, I only have 4 left. I have to be really conservative. The flip side, if it is 20 and I'm Austin Diltz, I'm going to give it a little bit more just to make sure that I have to push Jacob Quayle to be able to get more incidents. But at the same time, these drivers don't know where the other one sits on incident points. So it really just depends. Are you listening to the broadcast, hearing how we're updating it or not? Which, again, give it to your friends. Make sure that you recommend All-Star 15 TV and tell these drivers, listen while they're racing.
Well, absolutely share it out and do all that wonderful stuff. Also, but if you are listening to it while you are driving, careful, especially if Brandon is watching soccer. About 10 minutes ago, there was a large yelp, and then I looked at the leaderboard and nothing changed.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, this game's going to be done in 3 minutes, and Northern Kentucky can take their corn cob and put it somewhere, and we'll face them in the second leg.
Whoa.
Well, that took a turn.
Hey, they make corn down there. What am I supposed to say? They just usually turn it into whiskey, which right now they aren't.
I like whiskey. Whiskey's fun.
Whiskey's very fun. You know what's even more fun at a track like Fuji? Drinks that remind me of Fiji.
I'm just shaking my head now.
Hey, you got to have a little bit of fun as we go through. And looking at the field, it looks like Parker Dime maybe picking up some speed on Jacob Quayle. I don't know that he'll have enough time to actually get to him, but he's cut down about 2 seconds from second place.
Well, just last lap coming by, he was a second faster than Jacob Quayle. That could be a really fun battle for P2 and the GT3s. As we're closing in on under 10 minutes to go, right around 8 minutes.
Come on, get there. Put it on your back. Ah!
Boy, is that entertaining to listen to that. I feel like we should have like a side-by-side of what Brandon's watching.
If only Apple TV allowed that, which they don't. Which, for those of you who are racing fans and heard about F1 and Apple TV, as someone who is a die-hard Major League Soccer person and has had Apple TV Plus for a long time, do not fret. I know you like your F1 TV, but I can tell you what Apple TV has done for MLS has been absolutely amazing.
I'm just not a fan of the
regret it.
having to purchase the subscription for Apple TV and then purchasing a separate subscription for F1.
Which is interesting, because that's not how it is for MLS Season Pass.
On the email that I got a couple weeks ago, and I think I told you, and I showed it to you guys, that it said, you know, look over to Apple TV. That's where you're going to find all the coverage, and then when you click on the link, it takes you to purchase Apple TV.
It should be included in the cost. At least that's how it is with MLS Season Pass. Now, for me, I'm a season ticket holder for Colorado, where I reside, so I get MLS Season Pass for free. And my team is Columbus, where I used to live. So
I don't think my team's good this year. So
who you got in your area?
I got either the Red Bulls, the Revolution, or the New York City Football.
NYCFC is your only shining light. Red Bulls blew it this year, and Caleb Porter in the Revs territory is without a job. So,
well, there you go. Jacob Quayle, Parker Dime, 2 seconds separating. Last time by, it was still Parker Dime about a half a second faster. Is he going to run out of time? Is Jacob Quayle going to be able to hold P2 and GT3s? We're just minutes away from finding out. Looks like we got some Quayle fans in the YouTube chat.
well, if I remember correct, to my childhood, there was only one man that was deserving of the job, of any job. If y'all know who it was Quail Man. Quail Man is someone who may be able to get it done
Doug
here.
Reference?
That is absolutely a Doug reference. If you don't know who Quailman was, that needs to be the nickname for Jacob Quail going forward as he's driving around that Chevrolet Corvette right now in second place.
Holy cow! I can't believe you just pulled a Doug reference.
I'm impressed.
You thought it was pretty funny, didn't you? Pretty Doug funny.
I'm impressed.
I could see how big of a smile Brandon probably has on his face after saying that.
I have an absolute smile on my face, and I'm hoping that everyone enjoys Quailman and the run that he's putting on right now, currently in second place.
Well, the funny thing is, everybody, we're watching Quailman and Parker Dime, which I'm not going to come up with a nickname for that. But they are both, as Parker Dime is closing in on Quail, they are both closing in on Austin Dilts, as that gap is now down under 8 seconds.
Well, those incident points have jumped up. I do believe that our guest comment of 15 is the correct one, because we've not seen Jacob Quail come down pit road. He's already eclipsed the 20 off-track instances, whereas Austin Dilts, he's one who's going to have to play it conservative then. If we're sitting at 15, he's currently at 13 off-tracks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And maybe that's why we've seen a little more of a conservative lap time with Austin Dilts. Not trying to overstep the boundaries, as Brandon, you've put very well throughout the broadcast. But there's Austin Dilts going down into turn number 1 in the Aston Martin, the Corvette of Jacob Quail. Then 1.7 seconds back to Parker Dime.
This race has been pretty entertaining.
It very much has in the GT3s. As if we go back another position, Joshua Jackson, Morgan Smith, nose to tail. Both drivers trying to gain a position closer to being either even or negative to where they even or positive to where they started. They're both -3 spots, having issues early on into the event. But with 2 minutes to go, we are very closely watching Jacob Quail, Parker Dime for P2 in the GT3s. Uh-oh. That was scary. Everything blinked out for a second.
Well, and my data has dropped off, but we've got still some of the best racing on track as it is coming back to me right now.
Oh, did it happen to you guys too?
Yep,
Data,
lost the data.
Yep, it was some of the live scoring data.
Oh.
It's back.
Well, no, because I lost everything for a second, like all cars and everything. I got scared.
You were just living your best New England Revolution life. What it
just
was.
disappeared. Just bleeping disappeared. Thanks.
Yeah, like their coach this year.
Dustin Neerhoof is absolutely on a drive for a lifetime. There's a black flag for Mike Robinson.
Ah, Mikey.
Dime, Quail, under a second. 0.8 seconds separating the two of them.
Well, and he's narrowed that gap down. The thing is, Parker Dime is now only about 4 off tracks away from getting a second potential penalty for this race. Jacob Quail's got a little bit more. He can put his elbows out a little bit. He can make that block. If they were to get any car contact, Parker Dime would have to come down pit road even without the off tracks. Whereas Jacob Quail, he can run it a little bit wide. He can take an off track and take a car contact penalty and be
John
fine.
Holloway, GT4, opens a door. Jacob Quail able to hold off Dustin Neerhoof. Checkered flag down the front straightaway. Oh,
Oh, let's hope he already took the checkered flag.
He did. That
All
one
right.
get hurt. And there it is. Parker Dime backs up. He is now 2 seconds back. Austin Diltz is going to take the win and absolutely obliterate Nearhoof on the front straightaway. Jacob Quayle, P2. Parker Dime, P3 in the GT3s. Chris Edwards going to be your winner in the GT4s, as apparently they don't need these vehicles for any other race.
I mean, they're Fords. They're fixed to return daily anyway.
That's so much money. I don't know who just exploded, but I feel like we should go back and see that.
Oh, there was plenty of chaos. If you are here for not only the great racing, but the entertainment after the fact, you will see some great contact.
I mean, this league is supposed to be for fun. It really is. It allows these drivers to run assists if they need to, the racing line if they need to. It's made for drivers that want to learn and be on the racetrack with other drivers. And I think it's done that. Look how good Fazillo has gotten. Morgan Smith was up front for a while. Matthew Lothan was really good for a good portion of the evening. But let's see if we can get a word with any of our winners this evening. We'll give them a little bit, and then we'll see what's up. But Brandon,
well,
what?
And so while we're waiting for them to jump in here, I do want to make mention of, we've talked about different strategies and some racing IQ throughout this race, specifically about sometimes the best move is to ensure that you allow someone to pass you so that then you're able to get the best draft to be able to maximize your position at the end. Or sometimes you need to lay back and sit behind another driver. Those are things that hopefully, as these drivers are learning, because this is as AJ said, a very fun league. It's about learning, it's about growing, it's about having fun, and it's very fun to broadcast. Those are things that I hope these drivers take into consideration. They go back, rewatch the broadcast, listen to some of those things that you're looking for on track to be able to get the best outcome down the road.
As we have Dustin Nearhoof after a fun and dominating win tonight, that 126 LMP2 heads back to the winner's circle. Dustin, how you doing, pal?
Good, you?
Yeah, can't complain. Can't complain. It's a Monday, so once I punched out of work, my day got a heck of a lot better. But how was it tonight? Because it looked like you got put behind a little bit of an 8-ball with a possible black flag that you had to serve, and still put 45 seconds on the finish to Fozzie Fazillo. How was it out there?
It was good. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't a whole lot of traffic we had to deal with. The black flag, I was simply curious on what it would give me if I cut that whole chicane because I didn't feel like taking it. So I went through it and it gave me like an 8-second penalty. I was like, okay, maybe it's not quite worth it.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of playing test.
I guess I'm
playing test while you're actually in the race, but
I guess I'm not the only one who can break AJ.
I just wasn't expecting that. That was not the answer I was expecting. I was, wondering if you, dipped a tire off somewhere too many times and, got a black flag and had to serve it. Nope. Wanted to see what would happen if I just completely blew through the chicane, and absolutely loved the answer.
If you don't send it, go home. That's how I see it.
Yep.
But dude, how was the LMP2 tonight? Because it looked bad fast.
It was quick. I managed to nail a sausage curb in one of the first opening laps, which gave me a little bit of floor damage. So I just came into pit early to get my car back to regular shape. But it was a fun, fast car around here.
Well, next week, hopefully you're here. We go to the Algarve International Circuit. What are we expecting from you if it's not pure domination?
No idea. Again, another track I don't think I've really ever run, yet alone in an LMP2. So it'll be showing up and just seeing what I can get out of the car.
All right, brother. Any sponsors, plugs you want to shout out?
Thanks to WBM, great group of guys. Have a lot of fun every week. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thanks Revelment for putting on the league.
All right, brother. Congratulations on the win. Hopefully, we talk to you next week.
Hopefully, thank you.
Justin Earhuff, everybody. Let's talk to the winner in the GT3s. Holy cow, pal. Great job. Put almost
How's it
a
going, guys?
8-second win over Jacob Quayle and Parker Dime. How was it out there, dude? It definitely looked very hectic at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it was definitely some heated arguments on track early in the race, I'd say.
Yeah, we
I don't I haven't watched anything back, so I don't want to, comment on
no,
other
that's perfectly
people's
fine.
incidents, but it looked as though people were getting taken out left and right.
Yeah, probably a smart move. I wish more people would go back and see footage before opening their mouth, but it's kind of hard to do being in a race car, a helmet on, and in the moment. But being able to win here in Fuji, doing a really good job getting around this racetrack. For you, how was it out there? Was there any issues with that number 14 Aston Martin that you had to deal with, but still able to come home with a win?
Yeah, I mean it's a treacherous car to drive, especially on cold tires. But I just got lucky. Morgan and Parker and Josh, we all had, very similar pace, and they just all had incidents, and I was lucky enough to just dodge them all and bring it home. I couldn't believe I won, honestly. I thought Morgan was going to win. I couldn't catch him in the beginning.
Well, I could say out of all the GT3s, your lap time consistently was the most consistent out of the other GT3s. So I do got to give you credit there. Once you took that top spot, you were able to hold on to it by just keeping it on the racetrack and really not letting anything bother you. So congratulations to that and with the win.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Any sponsors you'd like to plug before we let you go on your way, celebrate the GT3 win, and get ready to go to I think it's called Algarve?
Algarve.
Algarve next week?
Yeah. Big shout out to you guys for putting on a broadcast. My teammates, WBM guys, for showing up. And special shout out to my wife tonight. She's been a massive chicken nugget, and I gotta go upstairs and tickle the shit out of her after this.
That's a first on the channel.
It's true.
That's
I gotta go upstairs. I'm gonna put it on the broadcast on the TV and show her I said it. I told her I was gonna say it. Actually, I told her I'd say something much more PG-13, but I'll keep that.
I appreciate you keeping it PG for the channel. I thank you so much for that. But all right, well, go have a celebratory tickle fight. It sounds like.
There you go.
Catch you later, pal.
Thanks, guys.
It's like a Ryan Blaney went on door bumper clear.
That's what I was thinking too. You took the words right out of my mouth. But here is Chris Edwards, everybody, your GT4 winner. And boy, it looked like both GT4 cars were having a heck of a lot of fun out there, kicking it sideways and just having a ball. How was it there, dude?
Yeah, Fuji's definitely one of those tracks where we get to slide wide as much as we want to. Nice wide course.
Yeah, it looked
Keep
like
the
a
dumpster
couple times
rolling.
you guys grabbed the e-brake and just drifted around. I think that was like turn 4, turn 5. That was fun to catch every once in a while, but
I think that's just how you drive those cars, right? You slide the hell out of them until they stop.
but how was it out there, dude?
No, it was fine. It was good. It was sparse though, with only me and John racing tonight. So it's unfortunate we didn't have as much competition. It feels weird to talk about winning a race when Dak's not here because he's the king of the league.
Yeah, you can say that again, but if he's not here, it gives you guys an opportunity to gain some points on him. But with that going into Algarve next week, what are we expecting from the 11 Ford Mustang team.
There are a lot of tracks that I have never raced before, and that's one of them. So some practice is what we'll expect. I got to figure that one out.
Yeah, we just had in another series on the channel. We just had the first race there for me, and it put on a heck of a show. I'm kind of excited to see how you guys are gonna get around it. But before we let
Awesome.
you before we let you go, any sponsors you'd like to plug? Anybody you'd
You know,
like to thank?
I want to thank Coleman for being so receptive. I found this league on Reddit and just pinged him, and he was super friendly and invited me to it. Got to come to a practice, and that's the only reason I'm here. So I just started in iRacing. This is my first league ever, and Coleman was awesome. So thank you to him.
Yeah, we made the point earlier in the broadcast that this league is really for people that just want to learn how to run sports cars in actual around people. Yeah, they have some aliens in here, but overall, it allows you to race what you're comfortable with, and I think it does a really good job. Not
Yeah, I think so
cultivating
too.
drivers, but yeah, you see how people have grown throughout a season, and it's really exciting to see where it's going to go as we are closing out the season in just 2 weeks, dude. But you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Congrats on the GT4 win, and we'll hopefully talk to you next week.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate everything you do.
All right, Chris Edwards, everybody, winner in the GT4s. Joe, famous last words. What do you got?
Chaos?
Well, we saw plenty of that earlier in the race. You were very
yeah.
spot on when you said that at the top of the show that we were going to see chaos, and you did not disappoint whatsoever.
Did I
Brandon?
actually say it though?
Yes, you did. Or maybe it was before we went live. I know you said it.
Before we went.
Brandon, what do you got for us to close out the show?
I think
Brandon might.
Brandon muted his
I
mic.
think Brandon might be muted.
I might be muted up. So what I was saying was at the beginning of this race, I wanted to see a margarita because this was Fuji and not Fiji. I didn't get that. I also did not get a win for Columbus, and Northern Kentucky unfortunately took that one, and we're on to like 2. So that being said, next week I expect there to be a ton of winning, a ton of margaritas because we can get them this week. So that's what I want next week.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow. Next broadcast is on Wednesday. It is a 90-minute broadcast from Lama. Catch you guys there. We'll see you next Monday at Algarve. Be safe, take care of each other, and we will see you on the next broadcast. Bye, everybody.
Deuces.